Tuesday, 22nd February, The Gap News This Morning, broadcasting live from Kuala Lumpur, I'm Ghazali Abdullah. PICKids registration exceeds 1 million, says Khairy. Now, MySejahtera asks for a snapshot of COVID-19 test results. Beyond the death penalty, all eyes on Wednesday's cabinet meeting. COVID, Australia's border reopens to international visitors. Ukraine tensions, Biden agrees in principle to summit with Putin. And after Australian furore, Djokovic starts his season in Dubai. And now the news in full. Registration under the National COVID-19 Immunisation Programme for Children, PICKids, has now exceeded 1 million individuals, which is 28% of children aged between 5 and 11 after 3 weeks of implementation, said Health Minister Khairy Jamaluddin. In a Twitter post, he hoped parents would not take a wait-and-see attitude on registering their children for COVID-19 vaccination. He also shared the infographic on PICKids registration in the post, with the highest registration in Kuala Lumpur, followed by Penang and Putrajaya. As of Sunday, 513,393 individuals, or 14.5% of the children population aged between 5 and 11 in the country, had received their first dose of COVID-19 vaccine under the program, which began on February 3rd. MySejahtera users are now required to include a snapshot of the COVID-19 test results when submitting an update on their health status. Previously, users only had to fill up a digital form when making a COVID-19 self-test report and declare whether they tested positive, negative, or if the test they took was invalid. Now users have to include a snapshot of the COVID-19 test results and specify where and when the test was taken. Self-tests have been recommended by the Health Director General, Dr. Nohisham Abdullah, before people attending a gathering or public event, or if they experience COVID-19 symptoms. Based on the latest protocol published on February 17, close contacts are required to isolate for 5 days if they received the booster dose and conduct a self-test after the quarantine period. Those who have been fully vaccinated but have yet to receive their booster dose will have to self-quarantine for 7 days, while those who are not fully vaccinated face 10 days of quarantine. Malaysia may have made progress in recent years as far as the death penalty is concerned. However, the cabinet meeting this Wednesday, which is supposed to deliberate on the matter, could offer the biggest indication yet on the government's intent and commitment on this front. Law Minister Datuk Seri Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar had said last month that the findings of the special committee formed to study alternatives to the capital punishment would be presented before the ministers by the end of February. This meeting on Wednesday will be the Cabinet's last meeting of the month. Presently, 108 countries have already abolished capital punishment, while 36 others have agreed to do it in law or in practice. Australia has reopened its international border for the first time in nearly 2 years, bringing joyful family reunions and a boost to tourism. The country imposed some of the world's strictest travel bans after shutting itself off in March 2020 due to COVID. Australians and some others were allowed to return from late last year, but most foreigners have had to wait. There were tearful reunions at Sydney Airport on Monday as hundreds of people began arriving on flights. Double-jab visitors do not need to quarantine, but unvaccinated travellers must do so in a hotel for up to 14 days at their own expense. More than 50 international flights landed on Monday. Travellers can enter all states except Western Australia, which remains closed until 3rd March and will require 3 jabs. US President Joe Biden has agreed in principle to hold a summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin to discuss the crisis over Ukraine. The talks proposed by France will only take place if Russia does not invade its neighbor, the White House said. The meeting could also offer a possible diplomatic solution to one of the worst security crises in Europe in decades. US officials say intelligence suggests Russia is ready to launch a military operation, which Moscow denies. The proposal was announced by the French presidency after 2 phone calls between President Emmanuel Macron and Mr. Putin, which went on for almost 3 hours in total. And now for some sports news. Novak Djokovic's season, derailed in January when he was deported from Australia, finally starts on Monday in Dubai, with the world number one insisting players in the locker room have been positive and welcoming on his return. Djokovic missed the chance to win the 10th Australian Open and 21st Grand Slam due to the cancellation of his visa in Melbourne and eventual deportation as a result of not being vaccinated. He returns to the tour this week in the Emirates, where he'll be competing for the first time since the Davis Cup finals in Madrid last December. Ahead of his opening round against Italian wildcard Lorenzo Musetti, Djokovic spoke to reporters on Sunday night about how it feels to be back on the tennis circuit and whether there had been any negative reaction from his peers. To end the bulletin, here are the headlines again. PICKids registration exceeds 1 million, says Khairy. Now, MySejahtera asks for a snapshot of COVID-19 test results. Beyond the death penalty, all eyes on Wednesday's cabinet meeting. COVID, Australia's border reopens to international visitors. Ukraine tensions, Biden agrees in principle to summit with Putin. And after Australian furore, Djokovic starts season in Dubai. This has been the Gap News this morning, Tuesday, 22nd February, with reports from Free Malaysia Today, The Vibes and the BBC World Service. The Gap News is also available on the internet news portal Melaka Hari Ini. We hope you found the bulletin informative. We certainly welcome hearing from you. If you do have the opportunity, please do write in. We would certainly love to hear from you. Podcasting live from Kuala Lumpur, I'm Ghazali Abdullah.